I want to take you through a little bit of a course today on breaking down lily pads. And as you can see, I actually knew a girl named Lily once. Well, we'll get into that later. But anyway, no, breaking down lily pads. And as you can see the scoff on my face right there, that's kind of an interesting picture because these lily pads right here, actually later on that day, they were handing me a check for $125,000 because I won that tournament. But at this particular time right here, if you notice the really peed off look on that little guy's face right there, he's really a handsome dude. But at this point, not so much because some of my techniques had kind of failed on me that day. But most of the time they usually work. And like I said, ended up winning that tournament, winning $125,000. But what I want to do is kind of go through with you and kind of break down a lot of the different kinds. The first thing we need to do is look at the different kinds of lily pads that you're going to run into, because you think of a lily pad, just a little round thing on the water, right? Not particularly. There's a lot of different kind of lily pads. Every one of those lily pads usually grows in a different kind of bottom. Fish will use them in a different kind of year. I know up here you guys have a lot of vegetation in a lot of your lakes, and a lot of it's going to be lily pads. And being able to break them down and understand the different kinds of lily pads that you're going to run into is really going to be key. Here more than anything else. This is flat pads or elephant ears. I've heard people up north refer to them as elephant ears. These kind of look like something was chewing on them. I don't know if maybe my dog was out there or something, but looks like something got in and got after those. But these things, these do not have a big giant log type root system like we were talking about on the spatter dock. These just grow just straight up out of the bottom. Typically, you can find these in really any kind of bottom, sandy bottom all the way to a really mucky bottom. I've seen them in everything. Like I said, this is the most prolific set, and this is the kind of pads that I'm going to spend the most time on today with you guys on this, because this is what you will see more often than not. You will see isolated patches of pads like this. You'll see giant fields of pads like this. It can be pretty overwhelming. But hopefully, over the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes, I'm going to kind of help you through that overwhelming thing and get us down to where you can pull up and efficiently break them down really, really quick. So the big field, the first thing you have to, kind of how I wrap my head around it, and hopefully all my little analogies, you guys will probably think some of them are pretty stupid, because most of them are, but that's kind of how my brain works. But hopefully some of them will help you look at stuff. Well, one of my analogies for big pad fields is when I pull up there and I look at that huge pad field. Now, this picture doesn't really justify exactly what I'm going to explain, but I try to look at a great big pad field almost like I'm looking at a whole nother lake. Like the pad field itself is a lake. And just like any lake that you go to, it'll have points, it'll have pockets, it'll have wider areas and thinner areas. And we all know that bass, just like about anything, you know, in the outdoors, deer or ducks or anything else, they like to relate to edges and you know, different qualities in an area, whether it's, you know, deer in a big wood plot or whether it's, you know, it's bass in a lake. So the first thing I like to do is start on the outside edge, obviously, because that's the first thing you come to and you're like, yeah, whatever, obviously that's what you would do. But what I want to do is, as I'm coming up to it, probably still on my big motor, I'm idling up to this big, giant, huge field of pads. The first thing I'm probably going to do is go directly to the first point of pads that's sticking the furthest out towards the main, whether it's a river, lake, whatever. I know you guys got a lot of rivers up here that have pads in them. I'm going to go to the first point that sticks the furthest out, closest to deep water. That's going to be your first key area. Go up there, and typically I'll try, you know, I'll take that stick worm, you know, and throw up there and try to kind of sneak it past the point, just like I would be sneaking it past the, you know, an isolated patch. Try that, and then move up to, you know, flipping a jig into that point, or even throwing a topwater frog. Especially in the summertime, catch a lot of fish in pad fields on a topwater frog.
I hope you enjoyed the preview clip, and for more like that and the entire collection, subscribe to the Bass University TV. And if you want the tackle that you see on there, I want you to go to the Bass University Tackle Shop, powered by Tackle Warehouse, and click right here, and it's all at your fingertips.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.